Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanadandana Yashodanandana Brajajandaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajandaranjana Yashodanandana Brajajandaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Shyam Sundar Radhe, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Haribal, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribal. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacacharya Ashtotara Satta Shishmachila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacacharya Ashtotara Satta Shishmachila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki. Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhattaraganath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhattara Saraganath Sari Goswami Prabhu Ki. Prem Se Go Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shavajari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopa Gopi Gopinacham Kunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mathura Dham Ki. Shri Mayapura Dham Ki. Shri Jagannathpuri Dham Ki. Tulsi Maharani Bhakti Devi ki, Ganga Yamuna Devi ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki, Sri Sri Gaunitai ki, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Sri Sri Radha Shama Sundar ki, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 17, text number 2. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. Matajis. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, tri-vidhā, of three kinds, bhavati becomes, śraddhā, the faith, dehināṁ, of the embodied, sa, that, sva-bhāva-jā, according to his mode of material nature. Sāttvikī, in the mode of goodness. Rājasī, in the mode of passion. Cha, also. Eva, certainly. Tāmasī, in the mode of ignorance. Cha and iti thus tam that śṛṇu hear from me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's fate can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this purport. Those who know the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of laziness or indolence, give up following these rules and regulations, are governed by the modes of material nature. According to their previous activities in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire a nature which is of a specific quality. The association of the living entity with the different modes of nature has been going on perpetually since the living entity is in contact with material nature. He acquires different types of mentality according to his association with material modes. But this nature can be changed if one associates with a bona fide spiritual master and abides by his rules and the scriptures. Gradually one can change his position from ignorance to goodness or from passion to goodness. The conclusion is that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated into the perfectional stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Thus one changes his position to a higher mode of nature. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakasodon Militam Menam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Bhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sabadantikam Bandeham Sri Guru Sri Yota Padakamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sedopam Sagrajatam Sahagana Daganatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Saddaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam śraddhā Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopiga Kanta Radha Kanta Namastade Tatta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshari Vrishabhano Sode Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyahivacha Paditanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare śrī-bhagavān uvāca tri-vidhā bhavati śraddhā dehināṁ svabhāva-jā sāttvikī rājasī caiva tāmasī ceti śṛṇu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, replied, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's fate can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this. So Arjuna was asking about persons who follow the scriptures to some extent, but then they worship according to their own imagination. Are they in goodness, in passion, or ignorance? So Krishna is replying that one's fate can be of three kinds: rājasī, tāmasī, or sāttvikī. And then in the next verses he will explain more, in more details. Those in the goodness, is explaining they worship the demigods. Those in passion, they worship demons. And those in mood of ignorance, they worship ghosts and spirits. And then also, in regards to the activities of the different persons in different modes, so that Krishna will explain in the next verses. So, not only according to one's consciousness, one's faith is there, but then also it will be shown according to one's activities, according to what kind of food he is eating. Food in the mode of goodness, food in the mode of passion, food in the mode of ignorance. And also sacrifices in the mode of goodness, mode of passion, or mode of ignorance. And then Krishna is also explaining about the activities of the body and speech, and then also of the consciousness. So ultimately, as also Krishna is explaining towards the end, one has to act according to the scriptures. And of course, according to the instructions also of the devotees, the spiritual master. Because in the scriptures, many times different instructions are given. Actually, also according to different persons. For those in the mode of goodness, some instructions are given. For those in the mode of passion, some other instructions may be given. So they may gradually be elevated, or for those in the mode of ignorance also. And so Srila Prabhupada is also explaining the purport that one has to use one's intelligence, and then, of course, always in accordance to the scriptures and according to the injunctions of the spiritual master or the advanced devotees, then we can understand what to do and what not to do. Then we can understand how we can advance. And as Prabhupada is explaining, one can change one's position to a higher position. So those in the mode of ignorance, they may be elevated to the mode of goodness, and also those in the mode of passion. But even if one comes to the mode of goodness, that is not sufficient. But to be in the mode of goodness, that is helpful, so that we may be able to come to the transcendental platform and then properly worship Krishna. In the material world, if one is not yet advanced, so that faith that is known as lokik śraddhā, that is ordinary faith of the common man who has a little knowledge but is not completely conversant with the scriptures, or they are not actually under proper guidance. They have some knowledge of the scriptures, but then they have, as explained also, or as Arjuna is saying, who is asking Krishna, if one is doing according to one's own imagination, but in order to advance in spiritual life, one has to be under the guidance of the spiritual master, of the sadhus, as explained by Rupa Goswami and even Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita also, that we should approach a spiritual master who is advanced, who is connected with Krishna, and one should serve him, one should inquire about the absolute truth, and then we can advance under his able guidance. Also, Rupa Goswami has explained, Adau śraddhā, first there is faith, but at the beginning it is ordinary faith, it is material faith, lokik śraddhā, ordinary faith. But then in the association of the sadhus, of the persons who are well conversant in the scriptures, who are devotees of the Lord, who are empowered by the Lord, in their association one will gain transcendental knowledge, and then one will develop paramarthik śraddhā, para-śraddhā. One will develop transcendental faith. One will develop firm faith in the Supreme Lord, in the process of devotional service. So those in the mode of ignorance, as explained in the next verses, they may have some faith, but they will have faith in the process, which may also be given by some persons who are actually not very conversant with the scriptures, who are speculating themselves. And as explained in the Bhagavad Gita by Krishna in the next verses, they sometimes worship ghosts and spirits, and they have black magic, following tantras. But by doing that, one will not be able to make advancement in spiritual life. And those in the mode of passion, they may, as explained by Krishna also, they may have faith in materialistic persons, even mentioned here in asuras, in demons, those who are very materialistic, but they have faith in them and they follow them. Those who are better situated in the mode of goodness, they may worship the demigods, and they may be elevated to the planets of the demigods if they are strictly following. Or they may make further advancement in spiritual life, and then they may be blessed to come in the association of the advanced devotees, and then they may understand that actually we have to worship the Supreme Lord. And then transcendental faith will be there. So it is recommended, and it is very clear to those who have some intelligence, those who have sufficient intelligence, that we should be in the mode of goodness. And in the mode of goodness, we should worship the Supreme Lord, not the demigods. Of course, some of the demigods, they are exalted personalities and they are also devotees, like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva. Actually, most of the demigods, they have faith in the Lord. And so by approaching the demigods, we may make some more advancement. And then we come to the proper understanding. Like we have seen also practically many times, those who worship Lord Shiva, by Shiva's mercy they will understand that actually we have to worship Krishna. That Krishna is the Supreme Being. And it is explained in the scriptures so that we approach those in the disciplic succession, the spiritual masters. And there's a disciplic succession coming from Lord Brahma. We are in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. There's one disciplic succession coming from Lord Shiva, Rudra Sampradaya. Guru Vishnu, Guru Brahma, Guru Maheshwaram. Krishna Vande Jagat Gurum. Krishna is the ultimate teacher. Is Adi Guru. But then Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are also spiritual masters and they have given knowledge to their followers, to their disciples. And then they can also advance to the transcendental position and they will approach the Supreme Lord. Lord Brahma himself is worshipping the Supreme Lord. Famous premas are there, known as Brahma Samhita, Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. That is explaining that Krishna is the supreme controller. And his body is completely transcendental, full of bliss and knowledge. And he is known also as Govinda. And is the source of everything. And then beautiful prayers are there in the Brahma Samhita. And always there is expressing that I worship Govinda. Govindam, Adipurusham, Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the original person. And he has given the description of Golok Vrindavan, the highest planet where Krishna is residing. And he's explaining what Krishna is doing. Venam kanantam aravindaralaya taksambar harvatam samasitam buddhasundarangam kandarpakoti kamaniya vishesha shobham govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. That Krishna is playing the flute. He's known as Mulidhar, Vamsidhar. And by playing the flute, he's attracting the Brijvasis. And of course the Brijvasis are eternal associates of Krishna. But then also by performing his pastimes in this world, he's attracting the fallen conditioned souls. So they may take up devotional service. Premanjana churida bhakti vilochanena santa sadeva hiriyeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achinta guna sarupam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So Lord Brahma is saying that those who have love for Krishna, those whose eyes are anointed with love, they will continuously see Krishna, who is also known as Shyam Sundar, is of darkish blue complexion, Shyam, Sundar is most beautiful. So the pure devotees, they see Krishna in their heart. And then when they see Krishna, they see themselves also as pure spirit souls. And they understand their relationship with Krishna. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, so he has given a very erudite purport on the different verses of the Brahma Samhita. And there he has explained also that it was revealed to Lord Brahma that is a maidservant of Krishna, that is a gopi. But not all the details were revealed. Actually, so the process of self-realization, it is gradual. First one will have some theoretical understanding that I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. And then by engaging in devotional activities under the guidance of the spiritual master, then one will understand more and more by practical experience that I am different from this body. And then he will feel some attraction more and more towards Krishna. Of course, some may be attracted to Narayan, to Ramchandra, but by transcendental arrangement in the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, the devotees are usually attracted to Krishna. And the followers of Mahaprabhu especially, they are attracted towards Krishna in the conjugal relationship. So gradually more and more, one may be attracted in that relationship. And then there's a loving exchange with Krishna. So, but one has to come to the mode of goodness first of all. One must be situated in the mode of goodness. And the environment should be in goodness. And as explained also, one should eat only prasadam, Krishna prasadam, and also they are not too spicy, not too oily, not too heavy. So that the body may be healthy. And then, if one is in the mood of goodness, it is easier to meditate on Krishna. Whereas if one is eating in a mode of passion, the environment is in passion, then it will be more difficult to focus on Krishna. Krishna's beautiful form, Krishna's qualities, and what to speak of Krishna's pastimes. To be absorbed in remembering Krishna's pastimes, one has to very seriously practice. And then slowly but surely one can remember the pastimes of Krishna, one can be absorbed. First one has to be in the mode of goodness, one has to chant the holy names very nicely, and then we may sometimes remember Krishna's form and then his qualities, and then we may be able to remember the pastimes also. Having heard about the different pastimes of Krishna from the spiritual master by reading in the scriptures. So even as devotees, so we have to try to be in the mode of goodness. And we have to understand that we have to raise ourselves above the mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And then we can advance in spiritual life. And then actually slowly but surely, by Krishna's mercy, we can understand things properly as they are. Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Krishna spoke. In good association we can understand the things clearly. having heard from the spiritual master, the representative of Krishna, then it will be easier. Just like the student, a child is going to school, because only having the books and try by our own selves to study books, that is not sufficient. One will only slowly understand the subject matter. So therefore the teacher is there in the school and he will explain. Because the teacher is experienced in the subject matter, then he will explain to the child or the student. So similarly, the spiritual master, the advanced devotees, they are experienced. Therefore they can explain to the disciples, to the followers, to the students, in regards to transcendental subject matter, in regards to devotional service, in regards to pure devotional service. So it's explained according to the mentality of a person, according to the modes of material nature. One's faith will be there, one's consciousness will be there, one's understanding will be there. So in the mode of ignorance, then the understanding is not perfect. If one is very passionate, one will not be able to raise to the mode of goodness. So we have to use our intelligence, as Prabhupada is explaining also. And then it is also explained, but one has to be in the association of the advanced devotees. Otherwise it will be difficult to quickly advance. If one is not in good association, the advancement will be very slow. Of course, also we have to understand that this process will take some time. To become perfect, it will take some time. But we have to endeavor to make as much advancement as possible as in this lifetime. And if we have good environment, good association, and if we already have from previous life good impressions, purva samskar, then one can more rapidly advance and there's more chances to become perfect in this very lifetime. So Krishna is very eager to help us. Krishna within the heart is trying to help us, to guide us. And then externally also in the form of the spiritual master or even the general devotees, Krishna is trying to help us, to guide us. But then we have to use our intelligence also, and we have to be sincere and serious, and we have to endeavor to make more and more advancement. So our endeavor must be there, and then the eagerness must be there, lolyam, to become more advanced, to become perfect. Prabhupada has written, Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained in one of his books, sung books, Siddhi lalasa. Lalasa means the eagerness, lolyam, to attain perfection. So one should desire. At the same time, so one has to be patient. And one has to be enthusiastic and one has to remain fixed and always be engaged in devotional activities with body, mind and words. And try to avoid unwanted association with materialistic persons or even materialistic devotees. We have to avoid those who are in the mode of ignorance, mode of passion, those who are criticizing others. And we have to associate with the devotees, with the saintly devotees, persons who are transcendently situated or who are in the mode of goodness. And there in their association, then it is more easy to advance. Actually, that is very important. Good association. And the pure devotees, they are fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. And from them ecstatic prema is emanating. Prema bhakti yaho iti avidya vinashayate. So the love which they have, that may be sprinkled upon us in their association. It is emanating from the pure devotees, and that can come upon us. And that will help us to advance, that will purify our consciousness. The devotee of the Lord, the spiritual master, the advanced devotees, they are speaking always about Krishna or about Mahaprabhu or the process of devotional service, how to advance more and more. And they speak about the wonderful pastimes of Mahaprabhu and Krishna. And by hearing about Mahaprabhu or about Krishna, their beautiful bodily features, their qualities, and by hearing, then Krishna will manifest in our consciousness, in our heart. And then, when Krishna is manifested, then it is much more easy. Then it becomes easier for us to chant nicely, to serve nicely. So we have to practice to become more and more absorbed by associating with the devotees who are advanced in Krishna consciousness. Then one will develop this transcendental faith, drya vishwas, strong faith. So any questions in regards to this verse and purport by Prabhupada? No question? Yes?
Thank you so much. How to recognize those who are in passion and in tamas?
How to recognize those who are in passion or in ignorance. When those in passion and ignorance, for example, again that is explained here in Bhagavad Gita also by Krishna himself. What are the symptoms of those in the mode of passion or mode of ignorance? So those in the mode of ignorance, they're engaged. If they're not too lazy, then they're engaged in activities like, for example, they may perform even some devotional service, but they may not be able to perform it very expertly. And they may also not speak properly, those in the mode of ignorance. But basically, that is explained, they are more or less quite lazy. And they are not so clean. That is some of the symptoms of the mode of ignorance. Whereas those in the mode of passion, they may be very active, but they will engage even in devotional service, but they have the motive also to enjoy in this material world. And in their speaking also, so they may speak harshly, or they may not be speaking very politely, or so they may be engaged in some devotional service, but then they're engaging also in sense gratification. And that may be seen also in their activities. And practically, we can see that those in the mode of ignorance, they will sleep more. They may not be able to get up early in the morning, and even during the day they may sleep. They're not so enthusiastic in performing devotional service, but they may still do, but not so enthusiastic. And they may not do it properly. Those in the mode of goodness, they may be more active, they are usually more active, but then they have a desire also to be recognized as a great devotee. And they will put themselves in the center, and they may try to put others down. And they may be eager to get some reward for their activities. Whereas those in the mode of goodness, so they are more calm, they are more peaceful, and they are more helpful. They will try not only to engage in devotional service and make advancement, they will try to help others. They are gentle in their speech, in their speaking also. And they are more controlled in regards to eating, sleeping, and they are more kind. And it is more easy to be with them, to deal with them. They are more understanding. Whereas those in the mode of passion, so for example, if there's some discussion or they want to try to serve together, but then there may be some differences, those in the mode of passion, they will try to put forward their ideas, and they will not try to understand the other person. And those in the mode of goodness, they are not even so much interested in trying to engage or try to think how to improve one's devotional service. Whereas those in the mode of goodness, they are trying to advance, and if there's some discussion on how to improve, they will be willing to discuss also. And they will be willing to try to understand the other person. What is his mood? What is his vision? His angle of vision? And then they will try to cooperate with each other in the mode of goodness. In the mode of passion, they want to try to put forward their ideas, and they're not ready to listen from others. So in this way we may understand the different persons in the mode of ignorance or mode of passion or mode of goodness. As devotees also, we can see that usually quite clearly. Those in the mode of goodness, they like to study the scriptures, they like to hear about Krishna, they like to speak about Krishna, and they are always trying to be engaged in devotional service, and they are not wasting time. They are controlled in the speaking and the eating and sleeping. So whereas in a mode of passion, sometimes they eat too much and then they sleep too much, and they are overactive. They may be very enthusiastic in the beginning, but they cannot maintain their enthusiasm. They do for some time and then they will try to do something else. Whereas those in the mode of ignorance, they're usually lazy and they're not so enthusiastic to do anything. And they have to be forced. They have to be reminded what to do and what not to do. So from the scriptures we can have the understanding as explained by Krishna, the activities of the different persons of different faith in the different modes. And then also the spiritual master or the devotees, they may explain. And then we may be able to understand if you are receptive and if you are intelligent and if you are listening carefully. And then we also, of course, we have to pray to Krishna to give us proper intelligence, proper understanding, so we can see things as they are. So it is a gradual process in Krishna consciousness also to advance in our spiritual life, to be able to see who is in the mode of goodness, who is in the mode of passion, who is in the mode of ignorance, who is transcendental, who is more advanced. In the beginning it is difficult if one is not advanced. But the more one is advanced, then the more it will be easier to see who is highly advanced, who is not so advanced, who is a neophyte devotee. So we have to be patient and we have to be in good association, and then we may understand the things more clearly. And so in good association, so then it is easier. And as you're asking, then we can give some explanation that then we may understand. And ultimately Krishna is there in our heart also, and He will help us also. So, but that is a process. We ask questions and then we'll get some answer, and then Krishna will also help us from within the heart. Actually, most important is Krishna in the heart. By Krishna's mercy, who is situated in our heart, we can understand the things properly. But of course, we have to be sincere, we have to be serious, and we have to try to be in the mode of goodness, and then we can understand. So, but it is a combined, actually, effort of Krishna within the heart and the spiritual master or the advanced devotee who is outside. Because the conditioned soul, he cannot completely understand Krishna's guidance, what Krishna is telling us, how Krishna is trying to help us, but in conditioned state it is difficult to fully understand. Therefore the spiritual master is manifested by the mercy of the Lord, and he will try to help us also. So by the combined help of Krishna within the heart and the spiritual master outside, then we can gain some understanding. Then the things become more clear and then we can advance. So, and also in the age of Kali, by chanting the holy names, then actually everything can be revealed by the sound vibration, because Krishna Nama are not different. We may not be able to hear Krishna from within the heart. Even sometimes we may not be able to understand what the spiritual master is saying. But then by continuously chanting the holy names, because Krishna Nama are not different, then everything may be revealed to us, slowly but surely. By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Therefore it is recommended that we chant as much as possible japa, and then also taking part in kirtan. So in kirtan, of course even in kirtan we have to be, we may participate in any kirtan, but then if an advanced devotee is doing kirtan, then of course it is much more beneficial. So that we have to understand. But even so, if a few devotees are there and chanting, then Krishna becomes more easily manifest. And whereas if we are alone and we are not advanced yet, then it may not be so easy for us to be absorbed in Krishna. But those who are advanced, they can be alone and they can simply chant the holy names, and then Krishna will inspire them. By chanting the holy names, everything is revealed ultimately. So ultimately, chanting japa is even more important than kirtan. If somebody has so much faith in kirtan, that is nice, he's taking part in kirtan, but if he's not cultivating his individual japa, then it will be very difficult for him to become perfect. So kirtan, worshipping the deities, hearing, reading the scriptures, being in the association of the spiritual master, that is very, very important, especially in the beginning. But ultimately, most important is our own chanting of the holy names. Then everything will be revealed by chanting the holy names. And so therefore the advanced devotees, sometimes they may be only chanting the holy names because they already have heard sufficiently, they have served sufficiently, they had the association of the advanced devotees, and then they become purified in consciousness. And then whatever else has to be realized, that is realized simply by chanting the holy names. So we have to come to that platform of chanting the holy names nicely, without offenses. And then abhas, nam is there, the reflection of the pure name, and then one will be able to chant with some taste, ruchi, with some priti, with some love, rati. And then one can come to the highest stage of shuddhanam, and then everything is revealed. Krishna's sarup is revealed, Krishna's beautiful form, and then our sarup is revealed, and our relationship with Krishna is revealed. And then everything becomes clear. If one is chanting purely, or even abhasnam, then things are more clear. And then it is easier to recognize who is an advanced devotee, who is in a mode of passion, who is in a mode of ignorance. Then Krishna will clearly also show everything. So, but of course, if we are not on that stage, then we have to associate with devotees who are more advanced, and they are helping us how to be properly situated. They will help us, they will show us, they will tell us who is more advanced, who is in a mode of passion, who is in a mode of ignorance. Okay? Anything else? Yes.
And how to be a good, how to be fine for that Krishna accept our association.
How to? Say
for
again.
How to be generally for that Krishna accept to be in us and feel fine, and that others feel fine also with us.
I couldn't understand.
How to do for that Krishna and others feel fine in our association, how to become a very good association. How to behave, how to think, what to do for that Krishna and the devotee feel pleasant our association.
I couldn't understand clearly.
Pleasant our association.
How, maybe if I understood properly, she asked that how to behave in that way that Krishna and devotee will be pleased with us. Yeah?
Okay, yes. Yes, so we should try to please Guru, Gauranga, Krishna, and then how to understand that they are pleased. Actually, again here, so in the beginning stage it is very difficult. It is not so easy to understand if Krishna is pleased or Guru is pleased with our activities, because one is under modes of material nature and then the things are not clear. So therefore we associate with the advanced devotees, and then we can ask them, am I doing all right? Is my worship nice? And then, so then the spiritual master, he can tell, or he will ask, for example, some questions to find out what is the consciousness of the follower or the disciple. So but those who are more advanced, they will Hare Krishna. Those who are more advanced, so they are purified in consciousness, and then they actually will have the direct connection with Krishna. They feel the presence of Krishna, and then they're actually guided by Krishna, and they will understand, and because they are purified in consciousness, they're doing everything for Krishna's pleasure. And there's an exchange there with Krishna. So they will feel satisfied because Krishna is satisfied, because they are pure in consciousness. And therefore they can help others also who are not exactly sure, because they are still under the most material nature. So then they can help those who are conditioned. And so they may also advance more, and they can actually then please Guru Gauranga and Krishna. But also from one point of view we should understand that Krishna is very merciful. And he is very, very easily pleased. You do a little seva and Krishna is pleased. Krishna is very quickly pleased. At the same time, of course, and just like a child, if a child is there and is just trying to, of course the child is playing, but then afterwards he has to also learn something, and he will have to go to school, and he will have to do what the father and mother says. But the father and mother, they are also again, so if the child is just trying a little bit to follow what they are saying, then the father and mother are very pleased. Even they may be so incomplete in their activities, they may not know much, but if they are just trying to do what the father and mother are saying, then they are very quickly pleased. But that as the child grows, then more is expected. He has to learn more, and then after that, when he learns more, then more is expected. How to behave, how to talk. When the child sometimes is not behaving properly, talking properly, the parents, they are not taking it very seriously. But when the child is growing up, is becoming 14, 15, 16 years old, then there's more expectation there. And he has to speak properly, he has to behave properly, he has to, of course, be then also responsible and be engaged in positive activities according to, of course, the scriptures, ultimately even according to material estimation also. Similarly, in devotional service, in the beginning stage, you may do a little seva, and Krishna is very quickly pleased. But then you have to follow the rules and regulations, and then after sometimes a little more is expected, that one is properly engaged in devotional service. And so the more one actually becomes purified, the more one will understand also how to please Guru Gauranga Krishna. But then also the different tests will be there, and difficulties will come in this material world. But then one will be able to overcome also the difficulties by the mercy of Guru Gauranga Krishna. So it is just a matter of time. In the beginning things are not clear, but the more we engage in devotional service, the more things become clear. Then we will understand how to please Guru Gauranga Krishna. And then reciprocation will be there. Then we can understand, then we can advance more, we can understand better. But then difficulties will be there, and challenges will be there, and then our endeavor, our faith, and that will be tested also. But if we simply continue and surrender and try our best, then we can overcome all the difficulties, the tests, and everything becomes more clear. So, and therefore ultimately, if one is in devotional service, one does not have to worry too much, because Krishna is quickly pleased and Krishna is always trying to help us. But we have to, from our side, we have to be serious, we have to be sincere, and we have to endeavor to do the things properly. We have to endeavor to advance more and more, and we have to endeavor to please Guru Gauranga Krishna. And so then we will be successful. And the more we advance, the more everything becomes clear. So just try your best, and then you will. And in the beginning now we should understand that and have the faith that Krishna will be pleased with my activities. Like we chant, we're chanting 16 rounds, you follow the 4 regulative principles, then Krishna is pleased. But then also you have to learn how to act nicely and how to behave nicely with other devotees. And how to do the seva better, how to chant better. Chant attentively, not think of material things. Give up the enjoying spirit. Avoid offenses, inattention. So it is an ongoing process, and Krishna is always pleased if we endeavor. But then we have to advance more and more. So that is actually expected from us. Like in the beginning, Prabhupada said, you can eat as much as you want. The first 6 months in Krishna consciousness, eat up to your neck. But then if you eat a lot, then you have to sleep also more. Then you can do less seva. So therefore then you have to control the eating also, and the sleeping, and do more seva, more hearing and chanting. So in the beginning, if you eat more, no problem. But later on, you have to control your eating and your sleeping. So you can do more seva. So you have the better consciousness. So you have mode of goodness. Because if you eat and sleep too much, that is mode of passion and ignorance. And then the consciousness is not so clear and you cannot serve so much. But basically, Krishna is quickly pleased, and so we don't have to worry too much. But we have to grow up and try to become more purified in consciousness, to be more in goodness, and then try to come to the transcendental platform. The platform of the self, Atma, Atma Tattva. And then we can really please Krishna. Now we're doing a lip service, just a little seva. What we are doing is just a little seva. But then the real seva is there when we are transcendently situated, and then the real exchange is there with Krishna. So just continue, and then everything slowly but surely will become clear. But basically Krishna, Guru Gauranga, Krishna are very merciful and they're very easily pleased. But you have to endeavor more and more and try to purify your consciousness and try to be properly situated. Okay? Hare Krishna. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki. Srila Prabhupada.